It's interesting for me to sit up here and listen to how different ways people look at real estate asset classes, because in data centers, it's almost like it's the Wild West in comparison to other asset classes. And we can kind of go through some key metrics, and we can kind of get into more of the trends. In the data center industry, I would say the currency everybody thinks in is power, access to electricity to power up servers. And then on top of that, even if you find access to power and electricity, you then need to cool the servers down, which costs you even more power because of the way the server releases heat. So in a lot of other sectors, when square footage is the key denominator for a lot of decisions, in my sector, it's mainly access to power, tax abatements, and then location. Location is important as a key driver because latency for applications to work. Say, for example, a lot of key data points that are mentioned up here were demographics. In the millennial generation, I would say the usage of the smartphone has actually increased by about 10 times. Uses of that are being derived through Snapchat, Facebook, streaming Netflix on your phone. That's all transmittance of data. As this data is being transmitted, that has to be centralized to a specific place. So when you hit play on a certain type of Netflix episode, it immediately plays on your phone. You don't have to wait 15 seconds because then you're going to move on to a different task. These different dynamics, the access to latency, the access to power, the tax abatements to move to that state or location, to cool down the servers, and then also battling the right combination of actual capacity with what your customers need, what they want, the 5-year to 10-year view. These are the key debates and the key battleground topics going on in the data center sector. And then I think we kind of, it's very simplistic. It is driven by data. Obviously, as you peel the onion, different things, different aspects of that definitely matter. And it really just comes down to how efficient can you extract power out of the electricity grid? How well can you cool it? What kind of tenants do you have? Are you working with Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, AT&T, Verizon, even JP Morgan, like your typical large enterprises? And then what is the behavior of these tenants? Are they scaling out their IT architecture? Are they moving things from one IT architecture to another? You, as a real estate owner, you basically have to worry about if your tenant is going to completely change the IT architecture, which is going to render 70% of your facility obsolete. This is a very common debate in the sector. Or even if they're not going to change IT architecture, you have to be worried about a company like NVIDIA creating a chip that could all of a sudden consolidate the entire workload from, say, 100 servers, which could take up 80% of a data center, all the way down to, say, 20 servers, which would take up significantly less. You have to worry about these things. And these are probably the key trends, key topics within the sector. And my role at Credit Suisse is mainly focused on the publicly traded data center operators. So when the stock moves by 20%, it's great. It gives me something to do. But other than that, I think this gives you a little bit more of a perspective on the asset class.